All right. Well, hello and welcome from wherever you're joining us. It's almost 6 p.m. here in Paris. 3 minutes to go. We'll obviously do the first few statements before we start with the slides and everything. But yeah, feel free to use, like I said, use the chat function here on the website. You can send your questions. Type them in. Let us know what your experience level is with crypto in general. There's obviously a lot of things happening in the crypto world, and there's no one experience better than the other. It's just a lot of great things happening. So would love to hear it out. And then, the idea is to form that community here. This is a good space to start sharing what we do. Today, the idea is to let you know what our journey has been. I'm Mariano, I'm the CEO of Wayports, and I'm joined by Ian, who's the lead engineer of Wayports.
Hey, this is a pretty good opportunity for us to exchange ideas. I guess this is the most important thing that we can do at this moment at the blockchain industry. No one know how to do anything, and we're all just experimenting and doing all this crazy stuff. So I guess what we can do at this moment is to share experiences and what we the experience that we have so far building the ecosystem. And I think this is a pretty good stuff to do regularly to share, and so we can critique our work ourselves, and of course we can share our experiences with you, and hopefully the other way around as well. So yeah, pretty excited for this.
All right, and so with that, let's get started. So yeah, a quick intro into the things that you'll be hearing today. First of all, we are a VR/AR Association member for the New York chapter, and we also participate in the Paris chapter here, where I'm based in. It's really, really good to be part of that. Where there's now a crypto commission. So if you're thinking about being part of this world and you want to uh, see how the industry is shaping itself, this is a good thing to do. Do inquire within. We can help you get everything started up. It's a good community. Everything is early days now, but it's a good way to get started, even at the very basic level. This association is really good. They, depending on the chapter where you're based in, one of the most basic things that they do is that if you can't afford a VR headset, they will rent one for you. So they have equipment that you can, they're trying to lower the barriers of entry to the industry, and that's a great thing. So if you're wondering if you want to get started, do check them out or do talk to us afterwards. Be glad to expand on it. Um, We'll obviously talk a lot about Flow. This is something that you'll hear mentioned again and again. Flow is the blockchain that we use, which is designed with ease of mind and at the core, and is really used for virtual worlds and different games, decentralized mini games that you've seen, just like CryptoKitties, or more advanced ones like NBA Top Shot, which is quite famous. Also, recently La Liga, the Spanish football division. Has had an agreement with them. So, for all of us here in Paris, the French people, French crowd that are new to Messi's goals, you start seeing them on the Flow blockchain because La Liga has this agreement with them. So Ubisoft, you see big names. It's a great ecosystem to be part of, and we're really excited to be working with those people. Um, so quickly, Wayports, the way that we started thinking about Wayports is this application that is a virtual world that, at the very basic notion, looks a lot like a campus or a business park, right? Think of like where companies used to, in the physical world, they used to come together and there'd be a convention center, and that's a physical building usually, and meeting rooms, and a library and a theater within the auditorium, some classrooms, offices, right? Activity, different things. We're thinking about this and having people show up at the middle of all that. Um, so when you start with us, you create an account. You have to take a picture or upload one, but you don't have to. You could do that if you want the avatar to resemble you automatically, but you can also just manually select different elements to make up your look. So that's something that you can always change, and that's really cool to have. And then You will enable permissions, obviously, to use your microphone in Wayport so you can communicate with one another, and then you just move around. There's this structure on the ground which is called a wayport. That's why the application is called Wayports, because you can use these to teleport to other destinations. So just standing on one will take you to the next destination. And it's as simple as that. If you played any games before, you know what we're talking about. There's just a keyboard and mouse. You can move around. You can interact with objects, with people. It's all private. That's the whole idea, is to not be, like Facebook, which is ad based and doing all those weird things with user data. That's not our intention. Our intention is to keep adding value with the collaboration tools and to keep everything private. And so this is a quick capture. It's basically something like this where you can walk around. If you're on stage, you get a first person view, but if you're walking, you can see your avatar. You can load a new website on a web screen. There's obviously those images on the wall. You can paste another image URL and replace it. So very quickly, you could decorate a room with logos. You can use a laser pointer. Really, all the things that you need for collaboration are there, and they're usable now. So I do invite you to check it out. If you're curious, you can go to Steam, type Wayports. You'll find it. You'll be able to download it for free and use it for free. That's basically it. I don't want to go too much into that. The next thing is Lilium. Lilium is the cryptocurrency that we've created for Wayports. The idea behind Lilium is obviously that we can enable people and companies to transact with one another. So if a company is providing services, you could, and this is the purpose of why we're talking today about smart contracts, is because you could having this framework, you could transact with another company, let's say, making a smart contract where you agree to provide a service or goods to another company that maybe is not even in the same country where you're at, but you're two companies that are based in Wayports, so naturally you want to use Lilium to transact with one another, and that's a unit of value that we could reward people with, so it's easy to obtain, and it's something that you can expand on and build from. So the other thing obviously is Quantum. Quantum is our service for the vault that stores Lilium and other cryptocurrencies. So in essence, is what facilitates this ability that each user in Wayports can hold different assets, whether that's an NFT or a cryptocurrency like Lilium or like Bitcoin or whatever it is, that we can offer that kind of solution and have everything built into that same space. The other thing you'll hear about is the WRL, that stands for Wayports Racing League, and that's important because we thought it was the best example of a community having activity, right? If you want to create a smart contract and you want to reward your users, usually there's an activity where you can determine who gets how much of that cryptocurrency and why. That's basically the question that every smart contract will be dealing with. So we'll explore everything through the lens of how we did it for the WRL. So WRL, really all it is that it's a sim racing competition. So sim racing can be as advanced as this picture, right? A lot of gear, a lot of advanced hardware here, but it can also be as simple as somebody racing with a keyboard or with a mouse. Um, some people use VR headsets, some people just use a regular TV, but it's a hardware intensive field. If you do this, if you race often, it's very likely that you have good hardware. So we picked this activity for our first smart contract with the Flow blockchain because we thought this is a great use case because these people already have the capacity to run Wayports, to run advanced things, and they're enthusiasts, right? They're people who love strapping on a headset and they love playing with different, trying out different applications. Usually, you have a tinkerer mentality if you're in sim racing because you're always pushing buttons and improving your setup and trying to find a little extra pace, right? So this is a quick view into what the WRL is. The first season obviously was won by Interlink France, so you'll see me here. I was racing for that team with the French colors, which was really really great. The car looked great, by the way. So you can see me here trying an overtake on my brother. That's my brother in the other car, and actually getting it. So we do this live. We do this on a server. It's your traditional game. It's called Live for Speed. We didn't make the game. It's just a game that we chose because it's not really difficult. It's simulation, but it's still accessible simulation. You could pick it up and you could learn it in a matter of couple of hours. Um, you could learn it, faster than that if you've been playing games like this before, obviously. But we chose it because it's a low barrier in terms of the technical skill necessary to participate. So there's damage, as you can see. Some cars are more damaged than others. Some drivers are more skilled than others. But the idea is that we produce this live stream and there's live commentary. There's a team of people switching cameras, talking about the tire degradation, the fuel levels, the pit stop strategy. There's a lot of things going on. It's really exciting. If you want to take a look, you can just search in YouTube for the Wayports Racing League, and you'll see all of our races. We did 29 races this year. This Saturday we have the last race of the season. Um, Luckily for me, I won the title for the drivers, but the title for the teams is still up for grabs, and that's what we're going to be fighting for this Saturday. If you want to, take a look, by any means, please do so. And if you want to join for this meetup, we've actually set up a free server that you don't need to spend any money on to race, and it's just for you to see if you like it or not. We encourage you to try it out. I'll try to be there as much as I can and participate and help people out because this is, like I said, the first activity that we chose to reward people with cryptocurrency with Lilium. And Ian will be talking shortly about how we did that and why we chose, to do it in the way that we did with the Flow blockchain. So
Yep.
basically, the concept is that there's 1 point equals 1 Lilium, and just what you need to keep in mind is that Lilium is the cryptocurrency, and that quantum is a system of vaults that we use to store and trade the assets. So with that in mind, I'll just pass it on to Ian. Mhm.
Yep, thanks. I had prepared a presentation, but I just think it's really formal, and I really like to approach what we have now with WRL, and now that you guys are more familiar with now that Mariano introduced the whole event, I just want to like to talk about how did we reach this in this point. And how, of course, I can talk a little bit about the smart contracts, a few principles that we applied in, but just like a background story of how did we start with this, and then how we came to this idea of creating a cryptocurrency for the WRL. So basically, we started with this idea. We already have the WRL going, and we thought that it could be really cool if we could incentivize other drivers to be part of to take part on the WRL. And so one obvious incentive is it's bringing habit revenue for this drivers, and of course we were already into crypto. We hold a few assets, so we started to think, oh, hey, let's try to create our own cryptocurrency. And just to state here, we're not like crypto experts. We're nowhere near to be that. We're just trying to build the community around Wayports with our currency. Sorry. And so we start this this journey to bring a currency to Wayports. So our first thought, I guess this is something that we've been thinking throughout the whole development of Wayports. It's to bring the ease of use to the user, and something that we found that it's not really user friendly this day is the way that the kind of knowledge that you need to have and you need to acquire to be part of to take part in the blockchain or to go in and try and do transactions in Ethereum or maybe in Binance Smart Chain or any other chain out there. So we were looking for um, a blockchain that have this like this goal in common, that this ease of use, this like this smooth onboarding experience. And Mariano already mentioned that we picked Flow. So in Flow we found a lot of that that we're looking for, starting for the custodial wallet solutions. For I don't know if how experienced are you guys with blockchain, and but I just I prefer to have the custody of my own of my seed phrase and everything. But there's a lot of users out there that are not familiar yet with this concept, so it's pretty cool to have this type of solution out there in the Flow blockchain. And of course, in the Flow blockchain, we also have a few other great concepts, such as a language that is the language that we write our smart contracts in, which is called Cadence. If you guys are familiar with Solidity, you know that everything lives inside the smart contract. So if a smart contract has a bug in it and it gets hacked, your guys are gonna lose all your assets, and so everyone else who are participating in that contract as well. So in Cadence, you have this concept this concept of resource oriented. So the resources that you own, they doesn't live in the smart contract. They live inside your account. So you have like a storage in your account, and you can store all your assets. So this is it's a pretty cool thing to have. It's safer, of course. So this was the two major things that spark our eyes when we look at flow. So yeah, this is great. It's a great finding for us. And I guess now we can talk a little bit. I'll share my screen here and talk a little bit about the concepts that that we that we try to follow while developing the contracts. I'll talk a little bit about the concepts that we try to follow while developing our smart contracts. Um, so keep in mind that this is out of our own experience. We're not here like saying, "Hey, this is how you should." Oops, sorry, I'm spiking out this. This is not how you should do it. This is not how. This is nothing other than this is how we did it, and this is where the approaches that we're we're taking for building our smart contracts. So if you're not familiar, what is a smart contract? So basically, a smart contract is a immutable set of rules in a mutable instance in written in a programming language, either Solidity or Cadence or whatever language. And a smart contract allows changing its current state via transactions. Okay, this is a lot of like words that maybe doesn't make sense for all of you. So think about a contract as a like a real world contract where you have like written explicitly what should happen in certain conditions where the system that contract is written for meets some kind of condition. So this is the same thing in the smart contract world. It's the exactly same thing, but the only difference is that these contracts are written in programming languages that they're executed by computers, of course, and so the programming languages are what computers understand. So the immutable set of rules here, it says that the contract has rules, and these rules cannot change. Um, so are the rules that once this contract is deployed on the blockchain, it has to follow no matter what. So this is a really important part because you have to take really good care of all your code and set it really well to make sure that everything is working. And the mutable instance per se here is this instance that has properties inside, and these properties they can change, and they only change when a transaction is executed. Sorry, and one of this immutable set of rules, one of these rules are applied to this mutable instance, and it changes its value. So we can think of a smart contract. Let's think of a counter. Like you need to increment and decrement, so you can like you can keep going, going, going. So think of a counter as a smart contract, and you have like a variable inside the smart contract that will keep the counter the numbers like from one to two to three, so on and so forth. And the set of rules is the rules that are applied to increment and decrement the counter, right? So let's say you want to add one, you just need to call the function add one, and the in that instance of that contract that are deployed in the blockchain, settings go from 0 to 1, and so on and so forth. We can have other uh, rules that will limit, so the counter could go only up to 10, and you get the idea. So it's just set of rules that apply to a contract mutates the internal state of the contract. So so how do you design a smart contract? So this is a pretty delicate and new field as well. How do you design all of this? So how do we did it first in the first place? First, we tried to understand uh, the flow of value in the system. So as we mentioned earlier, we have this competition called Wayports Racing League. So in the Wayports Racing League, we want to reward the drivers that participate in, maybe they win a race, or maybe based on the stand. So we have a bunch of different possibilities, and we started to study what is the best way to reward the drivers, and we started to understand what is around the race as well, because we can reward the drivers, but what happens after that? What the drivers will do with that token, you know? So we started to think of all possibilities that we had in that scenario, and then we think about, so okay, let's reward the drivers, and those drivers will be a first group that'll mint this Lilium token, and the Lilium token will have another utility for other group inside the Wayports community. So we're creating the market. We're creating like this whole system around the WRL. So this is the first step. You need to understand what's going around the core contract, because the WRL and the Lilium are the contracts, core contracts so far for Wayports, and that's where we start. So we'll build now this whole ecosystem around it, that will consume the data out of these two contracts. So we can build this whole ecosystem, of course. So the second point here is to map all the desired and undesired user interactions, because we said the last slide right here, we have an immutable set of rules, and that means that we cannot change after it's already deployed. So we need to understand, like, once we have like this whole system mapped and how it'll look, we need to define what type of interactions we want and we do not want in our system. So we need to make sure that we understand our system before implementing it. And so the next step is list all the logs of the systems, all the do's and don'ts of that last step, so you can visualize all the rules of your contract before implementing it. And of course, the last step is how data is coming in and going out. This is something that we this is something that it's not trivial for now, in the blockchain world. Bringing the outside world data to inside the contracts. So this is really delicate, because we if we uh, done something wrong at this step, we end up with like invalid data maybe, and we'll use this invalid data as valid data, and we'll mint, let's say, tokens for users that we should not mint, or you know the deal. So it's a pretty delicate step. So how do we tackle this? We 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 intend to have a secure set of servers. We have like three, four, five servers. Of course, we could use Chainlink or any other technology such as that, but they don't have currently they don't have like an integration with Flow. So we're thinking of other approaches to bring data to inside the chain. So our first approach and something that we're studying to do yet is to have a set of servers, and before we put this I'm sorry, and the servers will keep listening the data from the races, from the WRL events, and once they all the servers collect that data, they will reach consensus, and then one of these servers will input that data inside the blockchain, so we can have like a secure data, even if one of these servers are compromised. So this is one of the approaches that we're tackling. So after after all of these steps, we need to write down the requirements, because of course we have a graphical visualization of our system. It's pretty important, but if when you translate to words, you're closer to what you're gonna do while you're coding, because you're writing words and writing requirements. So it's really important to translate what you're seeing and sit with your team and to make sure that everything that it's clear enough for everyone, and everyone agrees with that, and you're sure that that's what you wanted to happen inside your contract. So this is a pretty important step. So get together, read the requirements, or discuss the requirements and the different interpretations of the flow. It's something that I judge it really important to have, really important part of the process. And something that it's crucial also is feeding back the outcome of the previous of all the previous steps into the loop again, and start all over, because once we got to this to the requirement steps, we have a set of rules in English, French, Portuguese, whatever, but and it's that is really close to what you wanted your system to do, but you end up with maybe an overview of the whole system, and not the whole and the whole sorry, and not the system broke into components. So while you're implementing your smart contract, um, you'll need to break those components down to make sure that every set of rule is well followed and well written, and make sense for the whole system. So you need to feedback all the all the system in the loop again, so you can make sure that every single step in your contract is valid and makes sense for the whole team. So, and the last step, I guess this should be the last step. It wasn't for us, because we found flow as what we wanted, and it was exactly what we wanted actually. But the last step is picking the blockchain. So uh, we of course picking a blockchain is another delicate matter, because it's way harder to migrate than a smart contract. So once you have all your requirements and you understand your whole system, what is the need of the contracts? Is the execution like the amount of transactions a priority? You maybe reach for a different blockchain than, let's say, Ethereum. Maybe you go for something like Solana, or you need to understand the requirements, what your contracts requires to be executed. So picking a blockchain, it's a crucial part, of course, of the whole process, because It's something that it's really hard to migrate once you pick one. So for us, it was of course once again Flow, because of the whole like onboarding experience that the Flow and the Flow team offers to, and of course the whole Flow ecosystem, because it's not only the core team that provide this kind of experience. Custodial wallets such as Block2 that we're currently using for our applications also offers this great onboarding experience for our users, and that's something that we really wanted since the day one, was to have a really easy to use DApp, so our users doesn't need to understand what is I don't know that what is a wallet, doesn't need to know what is a smart contract, and they I mean, with another really cool thing about Flow is they once they discover all of this world, they can start to interact with Flow as like any other blockchain. The Flow has non-custodial wallet services. You can connect with your ledger. They have a ledger app. So there's a lot of great features in that blockchain that maybe made us pick that. So yeah, I guess that's it. This is our I guess we covered like a lot of like different concepts. So I don't know if you guys have some questions, Mariano. If you wanna add something here.
Yeah, I would say that it's the process of deciding how your contract works and what those different building blocks will be doing. In doing that, it happened to us. It's like we have the conviction that we wanted to be on flow, but we had to confirm that through the process. There were moments where we
Yep.
were like, well, is this still good? Is this fitting the use case? Is this the right blockchain for us? And it's through the work, again, the inside work that you do with your team, but also with the people who are trying to audit and validate your code and trying to see what you're doing in a good sense of the way and everything. But um, it puts everything into perspective because you're not just talking about it, you're actually doing it. So that is a good thing to go through and to validate whether if you need to recalculate and switch to a
Yep.
different blockchain for a different feature. That's also valid, but it should be part of the design process for the smart contract.
Yeah, yeah. I guess something that is really important here is to abuse the test net, you know? So
Hmm.
once you get your contracts written and you think that you're already good to go to the mainnet, deploy all your contracts to the testnet and ask around, like, hey, can you interact with my contract? Can you do this? Can you do that? Because of course we cannot like measure the quality of a mainnet service by the testnet, but it's a good way to make some assumptions out of that and how your contract will look like in the real world. So testing test nets for me it's crucial. Another crucial point of writing smart contracts, because you need to ensure that okay, your code is right, your code is clean, but will the blockchain allow this execution. For example, if you have uh, in transaction, so in Flow, just to be more clear about this example, you have the concept of the contract, and differently from Solidity, you have the concept of transactions. And transactions in Flow are just another type of a structure, of a data structure, that you can say, hey, I want to execute this, and the transaction takes place in the blockchain. While in Solidity, you basically execute functions in a contract. So um, imagine if you have a transaction that you have a for loop inside of it, and it will run a bunch of transactions inside that same transaction, and imagine if the blockchain cannot handle that amount of transactions per second, or if that amount of transactions per second will at some point will break, and you cannot know which transactions were sent through the network, and which didn't wasn't which didn't. So it's really important to make sure that the infrastructure of the blockchain it's
Right.
enough for your requirements and for your contracts.
Could you share your screen briefly and show the
Yep.
example code for like the functions and transfer the
Yeah, yeah,
amounts
for
and
sure.
receive? Because I think that's
Hmm.
what really puts the perspective. There's a lot of people like in our group in the meetup that were joining. I saw, for instance, one person who wanted. She works at it's like a wine production, like a wine production co-op, and so I guess
Hmm.
it's like the intention is to see how much people produce and how to reward the different actors in the chain, right?
Hmm.
Pun
Yeah,
intended.
oops, let me just found here. I have this. Oh, it's already there. Okay. So unfortunately, GitHub doesn't have a syntax highlighter yet for Cadence.
Mm-hmm.
But basically, this is the structure. I'll go briefly over the whole structure of the cadence of the sorry for of the Lilium contract. So basically, here we can see at the top level that it's declared as a contract. So it's a public contract called Lilium, and extends this fungible token that is the default implementation of a token inside of the Flow blockchain is much like an ERC20 standard, but it's for Flow blockchain. Um, let me grab here some. I'll get over some of the important parts of the Flow blockchain, such as sorry from the Cadence language, such as a resource. A resource basically it's you can think of a resource as a struct in other languages such as again Solidity in Rust in C++ in Java we call I'm sorry in JavaScript we call it objects, but you can think of a resource as a struct, but it's a struct that it cannot exist in more than one place, so it's not copyable. I don't know if that word exists, but anyways, it cannot you cannot like copy the resource around. The resource only exists in one place at a time. So right now it's being declared under the contract, the Lilium contract, this resource right here, that it's a vault, and a vault is basically where you're gonna store your Lilium, and so it's each user can instantiate a vault for itself, but they cannot like uh, copy their vaults or anything. If once you create your vault, you're gonna store it in your account in the storage space. There are a few different spaces in your account. We can go over the different types of spaces in the account, but in the once the user instantiates the vault, there's only one vault per user account. So this is pretty cool concept that well it will not allow, let's say someone hacked the contract as I mentioned before, they'll not be able to steal your Lilium because your Lilium it's under your vault in your account. So this is a pretty cool concept. So if you want to, let's say if you want to receive some Lilium, you have this concept inside Flow that you can have capabilities. Capabilities basically exposes certain parts of a resource to the public, but they don't expose like other parts to the public. So let's say the deposit function right here, it's publicly exposed. So anyone who wants to send me some tokens, they can't do that by calling this function deposit on my account. But they cannot withdraw from my account because that's not publicly accessible because I didn't say so. I didn't allowed or authorized anyone other than me to withdraw from my account. So this is a pretty cool concept from again from Cadence, that you have this capability, and you can see here the way this works is by extending some interfaces. So you have the interface like the receiver interface and the balance interface and the provider interface, and these interfaces they'll have these methods like the withdraw, deposit, and what is the other one? I forgot what was the other one. But anyways, oh, it's destroy. No, destroy. It will simply destroy the vault. But anyways, um, so here, I'll say, let me find the transaction that creates the Lilium vault. This is pretty cool to
Hmm.
show.
Another, while you look for that, another difference between Flow and let's say Ethereum is that on Ethereum, for every transaction that you make, there's a gas fee usually associated to that, and so that's something that really annoys users and especially new users to the whole crypto world, just like myself. When I encounter that, it seems a little off-putting to have sometimes what it would be the equivalent of like $11 or $16 worth of Ethereum just to send a balance to someone else. And so that's something that's a concept that doesn't exist. It doesn't happen with Flow. That's another reason why it's a great user experience.
Yeah, yeah. So I found it here. So basically, this is the transaction that will create a new vault for the user. So basically, what's happening here? I'm getting the oh no, this is the I'm sorry, this is the one. Is that the source of their account? No, this is the wrong one. I'm sorry. I thought it
Mhm.
was that one.
And
Transfer
just for
once
people
again.
who might be wondering, like all this technical detail that Ian is showing, this is not something that you need to interact with if you want to participate in any of the activities that reward you with Lilium. You will never interact with these things. You always make transfers through the UI, through visual components that are easy to use. This is only if you want to, let's say, write your own smart contract on the Flow blockchain.
Yep. Right. So yeah, I found it here now. So basically,
Nice.
it was that one. Yeah, it was that one. But so basically, what's happening here is so we're importing the Lilium contract from the contract address right here because it's a template that we can use the environment variables to set different types of different addresses for a contract. And what happens here? This is the important part right here. It's where the signer is who is signing the transaction. So it's anyone who is sending this transaction to the Flow blockchain by signing the transaction in the wallet. So basically, here we're creating an empty vault, and basically, what this create empty vault? Let me find here. Create empty vault. It's just returning an instance create empty vault. So we can see here that this create empty vault method is just returning an empty vault with a new vault, a new resource with the balance, with the zero balance. So that resource is stored under in the user account under storage Lilium vault slash storage slash Lilium vault. So this is the are the different domains that I mentioned earlier, where the user can send can store different types of resources. So in their account under their account. So basically, right here, I'm saying that I'm creating an empty vault for myself for my account of Lilium, and I'm storing under this Lilium vault. So storage, the only person who's able to access the storage is myself with using my account. So, but I wanted to expose publicly the function that will allow people to see my balance, for instance, and to allow people to deposit tokens for my account. So we can see here that we're linking the vault, the Lilium vault. That the part of the vault, I'm sorry, the part of the vault that extends the receiver interface publicly. So everything that is under the receiver interface is exposed publicly under this resource address right here. So it's public slash Lilium receiver. and the target we're pointing where is the resource coming from, because again we can only have one resource, the resource can only exist in exactly one place at a time. So we're pointing out that our receiver should extend should come from the I'm sorry from this vault right here that it's stored under storage slash Lilium. So in the same
Right.
play, in the same thing for the Lilium balance, we're exposing publicly, so we're allowing others to see our balance under this capability right here that that we're linking, and this this part of the code is exposed by the resource interface called balance. So inside balance, the it has a function that allows other people to call for balance and hey, let me check this. Well, it address balance, and they'll be able to execute that in a script. So script is kind of a transaction. It's another concept from Flow. It's a kind of transaction that doesn't require a signature, so you don't need to sign a script to execute. So you can just like execute scripts and get stuff from the blockchain, and not while transactions you can post stuff to the blockchain. So yeah,
Right.
basically that's it.
Excellent, thank you. So yeah, like you guys can see, and gals as well, this is really, really good, really exciting. Obviously, again, if you're going to interact with this at the user level, you won't have to know it to this level of detail or even interact with the code. But it's good that you can see how it's built, so you can imagine it in your own use case. If this is something that you want to do with Flow, we highly recommend it. And if you have more questions, there's a space here on the sidebar to the right, I think it is, that you have a chat tab. You can ask any question right now that you might have. Otherwise, if nothing comes up right now on the spot, you can always approach us. You can find us in Wayports or at the meetup, Paris Crypto Work Group.
Mhm.
There's an activity that we have lined up for those of you in the Paris region. There's on Thursday night, we're going to meet at a bar and talk about all these things. So I guess it'll be more, easier. It'll be easier to ask questions with a beer on hand. So come greet me there. I'll be there for sure. And yeah, thank you so much for coming, for watching this live, if you're watching it live, or for watching it after the
Yeah.
fact. We'll hold a lot more sessions like this one. And again, if this interests you, and if you want to give it a shot to the sim racing, like we mentioned, the Wayports Racing League, that's something that you can see the races on YouTube, see how it goes, how it works. You can join our demo server for free and try it out for yourself. We are scheduling on the meetup now. Every Wednesday, there's testing sessions that we'll hold. I'll try to make it out to the track and give tips to people who are trying to get started. This is a great way, again, to earn crypto rewards in Lilium and to be part of that first exclusive group that will hold the cryptocurrency, and then will, could sell it to um, other members of the community. There's something that we're planning, which is an NFT marketplace. So if you're into NFTs, do watch out the meetup space, because we'll hold, as development advances, we'll hold another session on that. And yeah, like would love, let us know. We'd love to know what you thought of this, and if you had anything that you wish to see in the next few sessions, we'd love to add it to it.
Yeah, unfortunately, won't be able to join the meetup in the meet in Paris because Brazil is kind of far away. So, but
Right.
anyways, if you guys want have some questions about I don't know about the contract or any other thing, more specific to the Flow blockchain or the Cadence language or I don't know any other thing, please feel free to reach out. That we can have a chat about it.
All right. Awesome. Well, thanks a lot for coming virtually, at least, and see you. There's a question. There's a chat. Let me see. Oh, no, thank you. Yeah, thanks for making it, man.
Nice.
Cool. Awesome. Well, take care and stay in touch.
Okay.
Bye.
See ya. Bye
Thank you.
bye. Thank you.